We are going to go over mass hysteria and conspiracy theories and kind of do an introduction. So follow along with this video and also the Pear Deck that you have the link to. Do you believe in aliens or extraterrestrial beings? So go ahead and give a number 1 through 10, 10 being that they are already here for if you believe in aliens. Then you are going to explain your answer on the previous slide or from the previous slide. Do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in ghosts? Explain your answer. Do you believe in Bigfoot? Explain your answer. Do you think that Taylor Swift is working for the NFL? Explain your answer. Is the earth flat? And how do you know this? So think about the sources that you actually would have seen or read or watched that would have told you that the earth is not flat. Do you believe that secret government facilities exist? What do you know about the moon landing? And do you think this was faked? If you don't know anything about the moon landing, look it up. The whole point of this unit is to be able to do your own research and to find the answers to the questions, even if you don't know something. So look up, like, when was the moon landing? Like, who were the first people on the moon? What was going on that caused them to get to the moon? All of those things, and then think, was this actually faked? For this one, there are so many questions, so take your time, answer the questions fully, but what it says is, JFK and MLK were both assassinated. Do you believe these were events that were part of a conspiracy theory? Did the government do it? Did they not really die? Did they not die how the history books say they did? Can you think of another example of someone who was assassinated who might have been a part of a conspiracy theory? And you can have different ideas and thoughts on each person. Just answer these questions fully and with great detail. What do you know about the Salem witch trials? Again, I don't know is not a good answer here. If you don't know what the Salem witch trials are, you need to go ahead and look it up. Find out when they were and what it was. Maybe some people that were involved in it. So think 5 W's and an H. But you will be asked to actually look at this event in history as an event of mass hysteria and do your own research on it. So I want you to look up what these are, what this event is now, so that you have it for later. Same with McCarthyism and the Second Red Scare. If you don't know what this is, look it up, because you'll be asked to look at it as an event in history. Here are all of the learning intentions and success criteria that we're going to go over. We are going to be reading some fiction. We're going to be reading some informational text. We're going to be working on comprehension strategies. For both of those, we're going to be talking a lot about vocabulary, morphemes, and context clues, and really just looking at vocab words that you should know at the 7th grade level. We are also going to do a lot of writing during this unit, and what it boils down to when it comes to writing is essentially that you're able to cite your text evidence clearly, and then also clearly communicate your own opinions. Okay, this is the point where I need you guys, if you don't already have a piece of paper and a pencil, I need you to set up your Cornell notes. We are going to be taking notes on the next several topics, and so make sure that you set your paper up just like this example. You should have your name and then the topic underneath it, and then in the middle or towards the right side of the paper, you should have the date, and then you should have the class, which is subject and hour. So ELA 2nd hour, ELA 7th hour, whatever it may be. And then you need 2 columns on your paper. The left column is for main ideas or topics. They're basically what are going to help guide your notes. They're kind of like a quick reference to see like what section is spent for what topic. And then on the right side, the bigger column is where you put all of your information. So the example that is on this slide is a science example because you can use these notes in any subject. It's just a style of notes, so learn how to take them in science, social studies, ELA, math even, any class you can do Cornell notes in. But for the science example, here are the key words. They're just a few words, and so if I was going to look back at my notes or needing to find something and I'm like, wow, I really need to look at what I have about liquids or the information about liquids. If these notes were long, it would be a lot easier for me to just like look in the left-hand column and see that this is the section for liquids. And then on the right-hand side, all of this information is what I know about liquids. So your first topic for conspiracy, or for these notes, is going to be conspiracy theories. You are going to, on the left side of your, or in the left column, you are going to put conspiracy theory just like it is on this slide. Then you would put on the right side, like right across from it, the definition of what a conspiracy theory is, and then the popular ones that you have. For this, so go ahead and do that now. You can pause this video if you need to. For this, essentially, like, if you were taking notes and I wasn't going through and saying, like, conspiracy theory is your topic right now, or if it was where this topic was going to last for several slides, then you would basically just leave room to be able to add information about that topic. So you could kind of organize it that way. So if I gave you the topics up front and I said, here are your 5 topics, you're going to need like the same amount of room for each of these, then you could space out those topics accordingly. The next topic is going to be mass hysteria, and you're going to do the same thing. In your left-hand column, you are going to put mass hysteria, and then on the right-hand side, or like right across from it, you are going to put the information that you need to put about mass hysteria. I would leave a space or two in between each topic so that if you need to add something, you can always do that. And then the topics don't really run together, or the information doesn't really run together. So this is your second topic, mass hysteria. The definition of mass hysteria is described as a rapid spread of conversation without organic basis among a group of people, which essentially means that, like through word of mouth, a rumor or something is spread and people start to panic or freak out about it. And a lot of the time when people start to panic or when these rumors are being spread, it's really doesn't have a lot to do with fact. Like, it's not something that people can prove, or there's not facts to back it up. That's what it means when it says like basis, like organic basis among a group of people. It's saying like there's really no proof to back up these accusations. So go ahead and put these in your Cornell notes, the definition, and then also the examples. And then your next topic is going to be credible sources. Write down the definition. Basically, credible sources are sources where you can trust the information that the source provides. So you want to find a source where when you get the information, you know that it's trustworthy, that what this source is giving you is true, it's honest, and basically it's fact. And then I put down at the bottom, relevant and reliable are the 2 words that I will drive home when it comes to credible sources, because if the source is relevant and reliable, it is a great credible source to use. So, what is reliable? If something's reliable, it means that you can trust it. Or if you want to look further into it, you can look it up. But that you can trust the information that you're being given. So, does the author know what they're talking about? Have they been fact-checked? Are they giving us facts, not just opinions? Those kind of things. And then what is relevant? If a source is relevant, there's a couple ways you can look at this and both apply to the term relevance. If it's on topic, it's relevant. If you are finding if you find a great credible source, but it has nothing to do with your topic, then you do not want to use that. So it's not relevant to what you need to write about or need to use the information for. The other way of looking at relevance would be that it's up to date. So a good rule of thumb is always within the last 10 years, but it just really depends on the topic. If you're doing something that has to do with medicine or technology or anything science related, the most recent is going to be the best, because that kind of those pieces of information, those topics, they tend to change pretty rapidly. So, for example, COVID-19. If I was going to have you guys do any sort of research on that, I would not want a source from even a year ago, because we know so much more. It's such a newer thing for us. And so, yes, it started in 2020, so it's within the last 10 years that the sources, the sources that we would find would be within from 4 years ago. However, we didn't know a lot when it first came out, and so since then we've learned a lot. And so the most recent article or video or what have you is going to be the best, as long as it's a credible source. So your sources need to be relevant and reliable. Here is a checklist to use. I want you guys to put this in your notes. It's very important that you write down these 5 things, and then any information that goes with them. So the first thing that you always look for, and we're talking about reliable here, is the author of the source an expert. So when I say expert, I mean education or experience. Has the author been trained or has an educational background in this area? Should they know what they're talking about because they've learned a lot about it? Or do they have a lot of experience? So when they're giving you guys information, they are basing it off of what they know because they've been through it or they've experienced it. Extensive research. 2 on the checklist would be, is the information up to date? So that's, I already told you guys, last 10 years, but the more recent, the better, and it just depends on which topic. Number 3, is the purpose of the source to inform and not to sell? So what is the purpose of that source? So we're thinking pie here. Persuade, inform, or entertain. And you want to pick a source that literally is just to inform you, to give you the information. You don't want to have to worry about if a source is trying to sell you on something or if somebody posted information for more entertainment value, because in that case they could be just trying to get likes or follows or whatever it may be. So just to inform, that's number 3. Number 4, are there many facts and details rather than opinions? So you do not want to pick a source that gives you a lot of opinions. You only want to pick sources that have facts that you can actually use as evidence for whatever you're needing it for. Whether it's a research project or an essay, you need to only cite facts. And then the last one would be, what does the domain end with? Is it .edu, .gov, .org? All of these are fact-checked consistently and belong to or are normally put out by organizations that they do want to be credible, and so they do have people checking the information that they post. And so that's why it's always a good rule of thumb to use those websites. However, if you could find great information on a .com if you wanted to, or on a different domain. It just really depends. And if you're looking at the overall checklist, if your source clicks or checks 3 out of the 3 or 4 out of the 5, you're good. If it only goes with a couple of these, or if you can only check off a couple of these, then you probably don't want to use that source.